Knows Best.
Hi, friends, and welcome back to Brenna Knows Best. I'm your host, Brenna Berg. Hi, how are you guys? Happy Monday. Welcome back. Let's get into the stories. I don't have any write-ins this week. There were a few, but they were more like literally exact copy and paste versions of like men that are leading women on. So I'm going to put those in Friday's episode. But I didn't have any juicy ones for this week. So leave your stories. You know what I do want to hear? Because I'm going to start a segment on Friday's episode where I follow up from the previous Monday's episode. When I post on my Instagram stories, I get so many replies of number one, like thoughts, feelings about the situations. But also, for example, like I put the mother-in-law one this past Monday, which is like yesterday. Obviously, I pre-record these. And so many women like tell stories about their crazy mother-in-laws or like their situation with going no contact. And I would just like to have a discussion about it because it's really interesting. And it's also really interesting how like some people just, for example, like somebody responded and was like, oh, I didn't listen to the rest of it, but like I would never go no contact with my mother-in-law. And I'm like, I understand that. And if you have a good mother-in-law, of course not. Hello, duh. If you love her and she's amazing and not crazy, yes. But like, that's not always the case, unfortunately. But anywho, okay, let's get into the stories. The first one. Am I the asshole for explaining to my future sister-in-law why her kids will never receive anything from us? I, 27 female, have a brother, 33 male, who has been dating his girlfriend Sarah for 2 years, and he proposed a couple of months ago. Sarah has 2 kids from her previous relationship, 8 and 6. 8 boy, 6 girl. Not that that is really super important. I would say that my parents and I are not very close to Sarah and her kids, but we are very cordial and never had any problems before. Well, my partner, I, my brother, and Sarah attended the Easter dinner at my parents', and that's when the drama happened. The holidays, oh my gosh, sorry, I'm already kicking this off with just a tangent. I don't really enjoy the holidays. Easter just happened. I didn't do a damn thing. And everybody's like, what? You're not doing anything for Easter? Number one, I understand it's like the holiest like holiday, but like I'm not religious. So therefore like Easter to me is like the least important one. Oh my gosh, wait, there was a story and I was going to put it here. Actually, I'm going to talk about it on Friday's episode. There was a Reddit story and it was like a mom who was like in her 40s or 50s and she had a 21-year-old and a 24-year-old girl, 21-year-old boy, 24-year-old girl. And she had asked them if she can stop making Easter baskets. And I'm like, oh my fucking God, yeah. They're 20 years old. And the girl, okay, was fine with it. She's like, yeah, of course, mom. But the boy, like, really wanted them. And he's like, she got 3 more years than me because she's 3 years older. You're 21 years old crying about an Easter basket? I'm sorry. But then, you guys, I was so shocked by the comments. Everybody was like siding with the boy. They're like, you can't do an Easter basket. Like, he really loves it. Which... at first, I was so taken aback. Like, I thought my response was going to be the common response. Like, oh my God, they're 20 years old. You don't have to keep making a fucking Easter basket. Not the case. Like, every single comment was like, my mom still makes me one. I'm like, duh. I guess, like, I don't know when the last time I got an Easter basket was. Probably in middle school. Like, and again, you guys know me. I'm not religious. I'm not tied to these things. I have, like, you know, divorced parents. Like, there are all of these things. But I will say, I was thinking about it in the shower this morning. This woman comes on and like, she just, you know, it's a lot. And I don't know, some people take their Easter baskets to the extreme. And some people just, you know, do a little chocolate, whatever. And so many people were in the comments like, your son loves it. Do it for him. Like, it's so easy. I will say, why are moms always like, what are people doing for her? I'm siding with her. Like, quit fucking doing Easter baskets. If she hates doing it, if she doesn't want to do it anymore, don't do it. Your kids are in their 20s. They're going to be okay. And I also feel that like women, moms that are like oftentimes not manipulated by, but like their kids, you know, like, oh, I want this or I want this. They don't deeply care. Like, that boy would get the fuck over it. It's an Easter basket. Like, if the mom, why do we always push wives and moms to the extreme? It's like, oh, it's like the least you can do. Like, you can do that for yourself. Oh, your husband likes when you do that, or like your kids like when you do that. And then the mom is doing everything. Literally everything. Like, why is there never any sympathy for the moms? Like, thank God I am who I am, and I'll stand up for myself and will never allow myself to be in that position, because if I don't want to fucking do that, I'm not doing that. Sorry. And guess what? The kids are going to be okay. And that is another thing. Like, I nannied, and sometimes the kids, like, for example, nanny boy would be like, will you please come to like something where he would be with his friends or like with somebody ignoring me. I'm like, you don't deeply want me there. You're just like, kids oftentimes say they want something. And we're talking about a 21-year-old in that Reddit story. But like young kids, like they just say things in the moment. Like they're going to be okay if you don't do that thing. Right? They're going to be fine. And like, I don't think you should give your child every single thing that they want all of the time. Like, this mom doesn't want to do it anymore, and her 21-year-old son is going to say, wee. Like, I get it on one hand. Yeah, it's just a fucking Easter basket. But on the other hand, like, it's just a fucking Easter basket. Like, what? Anywho, maybe I should have read that here. But basically that was it. It was like really short. And then the comments really just ripped her apart. And I honestly felt so bad, because I'm very much like, mom, quit doing it. If you don't want to do that, talking to this mom, I just called her mom, stop. Like, for real? No, people need to quit letting other people run their lives. Like, moms do so much. Like, and here is the other thing. The mothers that like that shit, like, for example, you'll see on TikTok, like a girl in her 20s, like her mom sent an Easter basket, like in the mail, like a care package. Those kinds of women love doing that stuff. Right? Like, there are the moms that love like that little itty bitty shit. That is not me. That's not going to be me. Unfortunately, I don't think, unless I have a big change of heart. Like, I'm just not like a detail oriented person. I, number one, don't deeply care about holidays. Like, I will of course do wonderful things for my kids, but like that, just, I have no doubt in my mind that won't be me. Maybe if my child was like going through something, like let's say I have a daughter and she's, you know, having a tough week in college. Yeah, I'll send her something. Like, that makes more sense to me. But like, an Easter basket every fucking, like, maybe if they come home, I don't know. And I also don't even know how we're going to celebrate these things, because we're not religious, which is something I'll talk about on Friday's episode as well. Anywho, let's get back to this story. I don't know how we got there. Oh, because this was Easter dinner. Okay, let me start this paragraph over. My partner, me, my brother, and Sarah attended the Easter dinner at my parents', and that's when the drama happened. Oh, I started this because the holidays. You get everybody together and it never goes well, which is also hilarious, because like the holidays are supposed to be this like happy, joyful, wonderful time, and they're always the fucking worst, in my opinion. Like, I really don't like any holiday. Like, maybe I'm sour, maybe I'm cynical, but it always is like so many expectations and this and that, and getting, oh my gosh, there's a TikTok like trend happening, or like I saw a viral video where it was like a girl in the car, and the mom had just got done like screaming at them to get in the car, and the caption was something like, you know, your mom yelling at you to get in the car on Easter after you took photos or something, and it had like 100,000 likes, over 100,000 likes, like maybe multiple hundreds of thousands of likes and like comments. I'm like, oh, because I never had a traditional home. I was never probably with my mother on the holidays, or like I would go there after, but we were never going as a family somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, my dad would take us to our grandparents, but there was never any screaming involved. Like, you literally just have to go. We weren't taking like family photos and things, but clearly this was like a common experience for people, like their mom like fucking losing, which I get it. I'm going to be that woman. Like, rounding up a whole family of 5 when everybody's fucking off and you got to be somewhere, that like, I'm gonna yell. Totally. This is no shade to a mom, but I'm just like, see, why is the holidays like that? Like, it's just so like, ooh, anxiety ridden. Like, it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's too much. It's just too much. Okay, Brenna, shut the fuck up and keep going. Sarah's kids were at their father's, so Sarah used this celebration to confront us about my brother requesting a prenup. Basically, my brother explained to her that he expects them to sign a prenup and that only his biological kids will have the right to inherit anything from our family assets. Okay, number one, why is she confronting the family about that? Like, that's something you discuss with your partner. No, like, why is she bringing that up in a family situation? It's your future husband that brought that up. I get that, I understand why maybe she would think that's like okay because it has to do with their money, but like his parents don't have anything to do with the prenup. Well, maybe they do, I guess, on the backhand. Maybe they're really tight and whatever, but that's still really odd. And this is the thing. We got to get the parents out of the relationship. Moms, dads, but like on both sides. Like, get your parents out of your relationship and talk to your partner. Like, all of these things have nothing to do with them. Now, if your partner is like attached at the hip to their parents and everything goes past them, then like that's just a red flag in and of itself, in my opinion, right? However, like, talk to your partner. Like, I don't understand why parents are involved in any of those things, in my opinion. Number two, so the brother explained to her that he expects them to sign a prenup and that only his biological kids will have the right to inherit anything from our family assets. I mean, here's the thing, that's his right. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I have no idea what it would be like in that scenario. Okay, her kids are 8 and 6. You're going to marry her. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to say that's right or wrong. That's up to anybody's decision. And if they have a lot of wealth and let's say her ex-husband is a monster and like, well, here's the other thing that I think often happens in these scenarios. Like, I've heard of family situations where like they want, to set the child up, like a grandchild. Like, let's say two people had a child and then they're not together. Like, let's say the wealthy family, like they don't want that money to somehow get to the ex-spouse. You know what I mean? Like through the kid, because, if that money goes to the child, like, what if that child gives that money to the ex-partner that has nothing to do with your family? Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, two people, Sarah and the guy. Okay, Sarah has previous kids with the ex-husband. Okay, he dies. Her kids get that money and like then somehow, which I don't know if there's legalities or ways around that, but I have heard of that before, which kind of makes sense. But like, also, if you're marrying somebody, like I'm thinking if I have 2 children and I came to Carter and then he said that, that would be this scenario, that my children won't. I mean, I kind of understand it. Like, they're not his kids. I don't know. I always say these things. Well, and then I'm on Reddit and I see people's reactions and they're always like different from mine. And I'm like, maybe I don't think correctly. I just think like, I understand that would be really annoying. Like, yeah, if I met Carter and he had a fuck ton of money and his family had a fuck ton of money and I had children, I mean, that's kind of like sleazy to the... Well, he's just saying his family money. Now, like y'all's money, I don't know. That's fucking messy. Anyways, let's just keep going because I don't have an answer for that. This is something that we as a family discussed before, and we all agree that only our children should receive assets or money from our inheritance. My brother is free to pay whatever he wants for his stepchildren out of his own money, but my children and his bio children will never have to share anything that our family has with them. Oh, yeah, which I kind of like, I kind of understand. I unfortunately do. They're not their kids. And they're saying like, I'm guessing their parents are like wealthy. Yeah. If I were Sarah, that might sting and you might be pissed and you might want to think differently about marrying that man. And I think that would be totally valid. But I also think that like, that's valid of the family. So I think that you just need to figure out like if that's something you want to deal with or not, because like, they are just like wanting, that money to go to their family, which again, not right or wrong. It's their decision. Oy, okay, yeah, that's like messy. So I guess they did talk about that. Oh, and that's why she brought it up. Okay, but that's also like fucking scary. Like, I think I'm so close with Carter's family, and I can talk, like, especially with his mom, like on the phone, we can talk about anything, but like bringing up like a real issue, which we have had our fair share of issues, is like terrifying. Like, I would never just fucking call them out and start popping off. Like, this is what happens. Me and Carter talk about things and like what the fuck is going on. And then Carter speaks to his family, which I think is generally how it can go. If, you know, years down the road, I'll probably get more comfortable, but similar, like if there's something going on with my family, I'm not expecting Carter to speak up, which Carter would speak up. Carter's not afraid of confrontation. He's not afraid to speak what's on his mind, which is wonderful. And I do love that about him, but still, but my family's like so chill. Nothing's ever going on in my family. Which is a conversation we've had recently. He's like, you guys just kind of like exist independently. I'm like, that's exactly what we all do. And it's so funny because like Nanny family, for example, we saw them recently and they were asking about a situation and I was like, I don't know. And they're like, how do you not know? And I'm like, I haven't asked. I don't care. That's not my life. It's like two characters in my life. I'm like, what the fuck does it? It's not my business. You know what I'm saying? That's just how we are. Whereas like Carter's family is like they're in. They want to know what's going on. They want to know all the details. My family is like, hey, how you doing? Bye. Which is just the differences in families. Okay. Anywho, let's keep going. Sarah claimed that we are being unfair and that we are treating her and her kids like some strangers instead of embracing them like family. She said that the normal and decent thing to do was for us to see her kids like my brother's kids, who should have equal rights to any children they may have together. I told her, sure, after she gets married to my brother, she will become our in-law and her kids will be my brother's stepchildren, but that does not mean we have to share anything with them. I asked her, will my future kids receive anything from her parents or from their bio father's parents? She said no, obviously. So I asked her, then why would her kids be entitled to receive anything from us? Sarah said, because they will be our family. So I told her that we have plenty of cousins that are also family, but I don't go around wishing to share my inheritance with them. It's just like a big difference in thoughts and feelings, which that, you know, relation, like that, you know, comparison she made makes no fucking sense. Like, yeah, their dad, like her ex, obviously has nothing to do with you. Like, I understand both sides 100%. I don't know who I side with more. I just like, I let people live. That's what I do. So they each feel their own way. And I get it. As being Sarah, I would probably be hurt. I understand that. And nobody's saying they're not family. And that's also where it's kind of like grimy. You know, like here's the thing. You guys will probably get an inheritance. Like depending on, like typically it passes down to the children, like the next in line, and then, you know, maybe they have some for the grandchildren. So like if you guys are still married, then like you'll still get that money and like you guys will still spend that on your stepchildren. I think I don't honestly see the big deal. Like I understand what they're saying. Yeah, it might like be hurtful and whatever, but like after thinking clearly about it, like if y'all are going to be together for the rest of your life, then like who knows? Number one, things could change, but number two, like you guys will have your own money, you and the dad. So that money will go to the biological, and then that money will go to your kids as well. And like 2 years, it's like this guy is like very open and like wanting to get married and is like seems to be accepting of you having children, because it's not like if he were a man who like didn't want to date somebody that had kids, then he wouldn't, right? Or I hope he wouldn't. But yeah, oh, that's messy. I feel like, though, as the sister, Sarah made it everybody's problem. Sarah brought it up to everybody, which I feel like she shouldn't have done, because like I wouldn't want my fucking, if Carter's sister was coming in hot saying her opinions about this and that, like the inheritance for my children, like that girl has no fucking clue. You know what I mean? Like the sister has no fucking clue, but she kind of brought it upon everybody and opened up the door to their ideas and thoughts and opinions. Oh, that's fucking messy as hell. There was a lot more back and forth between us, and Sarah was not letting this go. My brother asked her to stop because we were there to celebrate Easter, not to have this kind of conversation, but she kept on going, saying that we need to clarify it once and for all. I told her from where we stand, everything is clear and it is only her who has a problem. She said that we are greedy and cruel to her kids, and I snapped. I told her to deal with it. She is free to work her ass off and gather assets to leave for her children, but we will never divide anything outside of our family. And she should not expect her children to be our problem or burden to finance. Oy! Wait, let me read that again. I told her to deal with it. She is free to work her ass off and gather her assets to leave for her children, but we will never divide anything outside of our family, and she should not expect her children to be our problem or burden to finance. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm like really conflicted here because being Sarah would fucking suck, because here's the thing, she's equating like the inheritance to like being a part of the family. Like the kids are going to be a part of the family, but I would understand like at first it's going to be a little weird. Like, you know, it's one thing like, oh, they're 6 and 8. Like you guys have been together for 2 years. Like it'll come together. But I do feel like that's like a little bit awkward at first. Like I think about my family and how many like situations that there are. And also like, what if you guys aren't together forever? Which is like so bad. And I hope that's not the case. But like, yeah, then you're going to be on your own. Like, I feel like Sarah, not that she's in it for the wrong reasons. Like I do deeply understand, like she wants her kids to also be part of the family. And like, it does seem like they don't know her well. At the very beginning, she said Sarah has 2 kids from a previous relationship. I would say that my parents and I are not very close to Sarah and her kids, but we are cordial and never had any problems. I think there's just like a lack of like, family, like a foundation there. Like they don't know her well and they've been dating for 2 years, which is like normal. Like if they live in a different place, like that to me is like not abnormal. But yeah, they might not know your kids well, but like you introduce them and so on and so forth. Like, I don't know. Oh, that's like so hard. Every single one of these situations is individual. It depends on the people, whatever. Anywho, okay. I honestly feel that she's very manipulative and is using my brother for what she and her kids can get from him. But that's my brother's problem to decide if this is the kind of partner he wants. I just want to know if I was too blunt in telling her the truth. I don't think she was too blunt. I don't think she was wrong. Like the girl brought it up and you were just reiterating, like we decided that the inheritance is only going to be split amongst actual biological children. Like that's just that. Here's the thing, Sarah, she needs to read the book Let Them by Mel Robbins. You got to let them. If this is something that is going to bother you and really eat away at you and you don't feel like family and you feel like that's unfair, then like don't marry that man. Like you have to. Why are you trying to like change their mind? Like they've already stood their ground. The partner has already brought up the prenup. Like this is something that is not going to budge. Like you let them. I'm not saying she needs to stay with him. I'm just saying you need to understand that this is what it is. Is this who you want to marry or not? And like that's somebody's decision to make. And that is just that. Like the sister isn't in the wrong. I mean, I think it's so inappropriate that the sister is like in the conversation, but Sarah brought that upon herself. You know what I'm saying? Like I think I wouldn't want outside opinions on me and my partner's relationship. Now, especially with the inheritance, like I would talk to the parents. Like if that was a situation, if I felt so called to speak to Carter's parents because what he was telling me wasn't sinking in, like it's like he already spoke to you about this. Like it's hella awkward to bring it up to his parents and his entire family when like you already know the deal. Like I feel like you're again, and like these are the things that like kind of sour a relationship, and it's like, oh, you know what I mean? But if this were me and I really wanted to talk to the parents about it, which like I would never fucking do, but like talk to the parents, don't get fucking his sister's opinion. Like I don't think she was just explaining what was happening. Like she was just telling the fact of like what the matter is. Right. But like, yeah, I also wouldn't want somebody else like speaking to me on that matter, but you kind of brought it upon yourself. Damn. Yeah, nobody is like really in the wrong here. Like she was just explaining the family's not in the wrong. Like that's what they decided. So that's that. And Sarah just needs to decide if that's something she can get on board with or not. Not the asshole. Oy, but that's a messy situation. Okay, next. Oh, wait, this next one, it's kind of short, but it's fucking crazy. And I had to share. Okay. Am I the asshole for telling my neighbor that I dated her husband? I, 33 female, became friendly with my neighbor, 37 female, let's call her Emily, after I helped her move a few boxes into our building while her husband, 35 male, was in the hospital. I didn't meet Emily's husband until a few weeks later when she invited me over to dinner as thanks. When I arrived first, Emily's husband had run out to pick up some wine, but when he came back, I was shocked to see Matt, a guy I had gone on 3 dates with a year ago, before he suddenly ghosted me. He had a terrible poker face and tried to pretend like he didn't recognize me. I don't play those games. Ah! Okay, so, oh my God, y'all. Just like in and of itself, it's about to get way, way worse. But like, that's crazy. I feel like in today's day and age, you don't just like meet somebody and then like things don't just like happen like this. I guess if you met a girl at a yoga class and then you guys went to dinner with her husband and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I went on a date with this man. Wait, I feel like we had a story like this. Oh yeah, that's like so messy. You're like, damn. But this is like, okay, they're married and this was a year ago. Okay, let's keep going. I had asked how long they had been married and Emily said 3 years. She recognized that there was tension and asked if we knew each other. He said no. I said yes. And I told Emily that I had gone on dates with him a year ago. And it's not funny at all, but that is crazy. Can you imagine that you met this girl and then you show up at her apartment and her husband, who she's been married to for 3 years, you went on a date with him or a few dates a year ago? You cannot make that shit up. That is actually insane. Oh my God. And he tried to lie. Well, of course he did. Again, no fuck. Yeah, I would lie too if I were him. Anywho, okay. I said yes and told Emily that I had gone on dates with him a year ago. She became very upset and asked me to leave, which I did. The next day, Emily reached out and said that she didn't appreciate that I lied about when I dated her husband. No! Babe. Emily, you got a lying piece of shit on your hands. Fuck. You just broke up a marriage. Oh my gosh. Anywho, okay. He told her that we dated 4 years ago before they were married. I didn't even live in this city 4 years ago. And even if we had dated 4 years ago, they had been engaged at that point. Either way, he would have been cheating. Yeah, denial is a fucking terrible drug. You know, like, girls, and I get it, and I think it's like self-preservation. You don't want to believe it, and therefore you go into denial because, like, here's the thing: if he cheated with her, he cheated with multiple women. Like, I just never believe, like, of course there is a first time, but I don't think, like, if that was a year ago, how did they meet? On a dating app, I'm imagining, because how else would she have met him? Like, yeah. And I feel like girls that are in relationships with men that cheat, which I've never been there, I feel like you have to deeply know, or you, like, there is something like a woman's intuition. I feel like there's gotta be like little things. Like, I'm always so shocked when I hear women say that they were blindsided and that like the man had a double life, or like even just not that severe, like a man cheating. Well, both are bad. Both are terrible. Hello. But when they're like, I had no idea, I'm like, there's gotta be something. Like, there had to have been some sort of like, I just failed to believe, which obviously there are men that are like narcissists, and it's not as common as like we make it out to be online, I don't think. However, there are men that like live double lives and like play a character, but I'm like, how were you, like, number one, me and Carter, like, he goes to work and he comes home. When would that man cheat? Like, I just like, Are they going out a lot? Like, how does that even happen in the first place? Like, do they have a nighttime job? Like, I feel like it happens in these like untraditional, well, it can happen in the workplace. I don't know, but that's fucking crazy. But obviously it happens. Like, obviously there are women that get blindsided. They're like, no, he was amazing. He did this, this, and this. And like, that's just a chronic cheater. But like, again, it's never happened to me. So I don't know. But I'm like, this poor girl, Emily, like, I'm assuming that, oh my gosh, you guys. Wait, I've spilled this tea before and maybe I shouldn't say it again, but there was a girl that reached out to me one time and she had a boyfriend of like years and years and years who I met in Nashville and so on, so forth. And she found, I have no fucking idea how, but she messaged me on Instagram and was like, oh, I have an STD now because of you, so on, so forth. Like, obviously she was like taking it out on me. I got tested. I had nothing. I had not a single thing. I've never had an STD. I've never had anything. And I said, girlie, I'm so sorry. But like, if that happened so casually, there are other women. And now they're married. And I'm like, this is like, how do you get married to a man that cheats on you? Like, this happened prior to an engagement. Because obviously she, followed me, or not followed me, but messaged me. So like every once in a while I check in. They're now engaged and married. She fully knew, and that had not been the first. There's just no fucking way. And I'm like, what are you actually doing? You want your life to be up in shambles? You're going to have a child with a man who just cheats on you? I don't know. Something about that is just so fucking crazy. Anywho. Okay, let's keep going. I sent her screenshots of our text from the year before and from Bumble of his profile, which was still active. She never responded, but when I saw her in the lobby yesterday, she wouldn't even look me in the eye. I don't know if they're still together, and Emily hasn't responded to my text. So am I the asshole for telling her the truth? Fuck no. No. You were not the asshole. Always tell the woman. And here's the thing, like I just said, women might not always listen. They might not always do what's best for them. And, love is love and so on and so forth. But you are in the right. And I know this is like a conversation that happens a lot. I've never been in this situation. That happened and I had no idea. And that girl reached out to me because this was like a trip. Like, it was like, so it was, whatever. I've never been in a situation where, even if I wasn't involved, where I knew somebody was cheating and had to tell them. Like, this happens to girls or people, I think, a lot, and they're like, do I tell her? And as much as it fucking sucks, here's the thing. I think because women are so empathetic and sympathetic and like we are just so in our feelings and like feel for others, in some fucked up way, I think that people, when they suspect or find out, not suspect, only tell somebody if you know for a fact that their partner is cheating, a man is cheating on a woman, and you are thinking about telling her. I think women, we take that on is like, oh my God, I'm going to break them up. Or like, this is somehow your fault when it has nothing to do with you. You telling a woman that her partner is cheating, like you didn't do anything. Even if you were the person involved, if you had no fucking idea, like it was like a one night stand, you just met them out, there's like no way you would have known that, but then it comes out later, or you learn about it, you see somebody out with a girl, so on. You're not the one cheating. You're not the one doing anything. And it's easier to say that, like, again, it's just like a woman thing. Like, I think for some reason, and the reason that women are hesitant to tell the girl is because, like, for some reason we feel like we're doing something bad. Like, we're the one that's going to break up this couple, when it's like, no, it was him and his actions. You know what I'm saying? I'm team always tell the girl if you know that their partner is cheating. I don't care if you know her. I don't care if it's your enemy. I don't care what the situation is. And here's the thing. She might not break up with him. She might not, whatever. Like, you let her do what she's going to do. But I think you always tell the person, because like if I were in that situation and my partner were cheating, as much as it would fucking suck if you're married, like no matter what the instance is, if you're engaged, like you want to know, you have to know. Like if my partner had been cheating on me ever, somebody has to tell me. If somebody knew and didn't tell me, no. That's fucked up. So she is not the asshole for telling Emily the truth. And Emily is just like, number one, in denial, embarrassed, probably like figuring out what the fuck she's going to do. They're married. Thank God it doesn't sound like they have kids or it wasn't mentioned, but you've only been married for 3 years. But here's the thing, like if he cheated a year, 2 years into marriage, like it's obviously been ongoing. His profile is still fucking active. Like she has the information now and she can do what she wants. But yeah, what? You're not going to be besties with Emily. Like even though you were not in the wrong at all, like think if you were in that position. Like I find out that a girl I'm connected with and that like I liked and like helped me move went on dates with my husband a year ago. Yeah, I'm not gonna like that bitch, like no matter how much. And it's not her fault. And like, you know, the headspace a woman goes in, like the problem is the man. You need to divorce that man and keep it moving. But even still, and this is kind of how I feel about like friendships, you know, when like you dated somebody and you had this friend group or you liked their friends, but then you go through this breakup, and even though the friends have nothing to do with it, there are like weird feelings because you dated that person and like maybe they didn't see you in the best light, like maybe you acted crazy. It kind of just like muddies the water and it kind of just ruins the friendship. Like sometimes you have to, unfortunately, like let's say she immediately divorced that man, like some women would then be friends, like some women could like, oh, thank you so much and whatever. But I do understand like if she wouldn't want, like you would be a constant reminder of that time. So unfortunately, no matter how much you bonded, like there's not going to be a friendship there probably. Like number one, this just happened, but even down the road, like I would understand like not wanting to be associated with that. It would just like be weird and hard, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, not the asshole. Damn, that is so crazy. That would just be like, so I cannot even imagine if I was single and I met this girl and I show up and her husband is a man I went on dates with and she said we've been married for 3 years. Like I would shit my pants. Like I'm not kidding. I would shit my pants. I don't know if in the moment, if I'm that straightforward. I'm kind of a pussy, honestly. Like I'm kind of a little bitch at times. Like I would tell her, but like in front of him, well, maybe not. Like if he's standing there lying, I'd be like, oh, you're not gonna fucking say that you were on Bumble and we went on dates a year ago? That's crazy. He ghosted her. Oh my God. That's also why like when girls are like heartbroken over like a guy they went on 2 dates with and he ghosted, it's like this man could be married. This man could be literally cheating on his wife with you. And you're like sitting here like, oh, like he ghosted me. What did I do wrong? No, what the fuck did he do wrong? You know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh. Okay. Next. Oh my gosh, you guys, I forgot that I added this story as well. This is fucking crazy. I couldn't find like great, good, long stories, but I found a few short, good ones, like hilarious ones. This one is diabolical. Okay. Am I the asshole for admitting in front of all of my husband's friends that I've never had an orgasm? Just that right there, full stop. Oh my God. Oh my God. I haven't even started. Like the fact that she's married and never had an orgasm is exactly why you have premarital sex. I'm just kidding because I don't know the history of that, but like I'm just saying if there's any example that I could give, it's that. Oh my gosh, you guys, do you remember that Friday episode where those people were having sex on my literal parking garage outside of my window? There's like an older woman walking past and I'm like, oh God, please don't be meeting a man to have sex up here. I'm like so triggered. Okay, anywho, let's begin. Recently, we had one of my husband's friends' birthday parties. It was a bigger party and all my husband's friends and their wives were there. No kids. We were talking and joking, and one woman that I'm friendly with was annoyed with her husband and joked, "Men, if they didn't get us off, why would we keep them?" And she laughed. I awkwardly laughed, but I guess I looked uncomfortable because she asked me what was up, and she pointed out that I made a weird face. I said that I've just never had an orgasm before, so I guess I couldn't relate. Okay. Oh, that's fucking crazy as a sentence, but that's also kind of diabolical to say in front of your husband's friends and their wives. Like, oh, but I guess if she looked uncomfortable, like I would have just left it off, but that would never be me. Oh my God. Okay, wait, let's just keep going. Almost a dozen people looked at me when I said that. It was super awkward. The wife then awkwardly asked, "Is everything okay down there?" And I said, "Yeah, just have never had anyone try, I guess." Anyone? You're literally married? Oh my gosh. 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 Why would you say that? Why would you say that in front of everybody? Here's the thing. I literally talked about this last week, how there's an ongoing conversation about people, women talking to their friends about relationship issues. This is something that you talk to your best friend about, like you bring up in a conversation that it's never happened. And like, how the fuck do you get your husband to make you orgasm, which is like a crazy thing to have to ask your best friend, but like that I'm a fan of. In front of your husband's friends and their wives, like, oh my God, that is mortifying for him. Like, it's so wrong that she's never had an orgasm, but it's also like worse that she's like airing out their laundry, in my opinion. Unfortunately, like, on one hand, if she were like making a joke and being like a badass about it, which is still just like not really appropriate. Oh my gosh. But maybe this is the push that he needed to like get it together. Maybe this will motivate him to make you orgasm. That way he can go back to his friends and say, "I actually made her orgasm." Because how would you ever face your friends again? Oh my gosh. Okay, wait, let me keep going. For the next 10 minutes, all my husband's friends took turns insulting him in various ways. Many women talked about how they'd never be married to someone who didn't get the job done. Oh, fuck. Again, I agree with that sentiment, but like, how horrible for him. Like, that is honestly life ending. Like, that is so embarrassing to be him. And like, oh, they're openly like dogging on him. Like, even though I agree with what they're saying, like, I don't ever believe in like people like shitting on somebody, in general, but especially right in front of them. Damn. Okay, my husband made us leave early. When we got home, he lectured me about how I humiliated him. I pointed out that she asked, and I have a tendency to be honest. He's been really upset the last several days, and he keeps saying he can't talk to his friends because they now think badly of him. Am I the asshole for being honest here? Oh, damn. Here is the thing. Do I think that she should have said that in front of everybody? No. But do I think it's wild that he has never made her orgasm? And here is the thing. I want to make this like a little life lesson to all the younger girls out there, or just girls that are like a little bit uncomfortable. Like, this conversation might be uncomfortable for people. Like, I remember when I was young, like talking about orgasms and sex were like so like, ooh, and taboo, and like you feel kind of weird. I don't feel that way now, obviously, but I just want to let you know that here is the thing. Sex in a relationship is important. Is it everything? No. Is it important? Yes. And you getting off is like just as important as him getting off. And so you have to advocate for yourself and do not marry a man if he is never like, you need to communicate. Like, this to me screams that there are other issues in the relationship. And I know I always fucking judge everybody and their mothers on these stories, but it's like the only way that would happen is like she doesn't advocate for herself. Number one, she's never had an orgasm. Fucking get a vibrator and just at least for your own goddamn self do it. Like, figure out what it's like, and like self-exploration I think is really fucking important if you've never had an orgasm. But then like this leads me to believe that there are areas where they don't communicate, and like she must be really shy about bringing things up, or they do. And yeah, there's like two options here. Either she doesn't bring it up because she's nervous or scared, which if you're married, you should not be nervous or scared to bring anything up to your partner. That is my actual honest to God's truth. If you are literally getting married to a man, there should be nothing that you're scared to bring up to him. There are things that are uncomfortable, not exciting, not good to bring up, things that like, yeah, maybe you're not thrilled about bringing up, but like you should be able to talk about anything and everything. And I yet for some reason think that sex is this area where we're like, so again, because for women, like men joke from puberty on about jacking off and masturbating and like hot women, and like it's so normalized for men to talk about these things, but for women it's not, which obviously, like, one thing I will say, what you believe about Alex Cooper or not, if you like her podcast, if you don't, I never listened to it in the past, but I obviously know that it used to be really raunchy. I do think that it helped move the ball forward for women to talk about these things. Like, I really did think that, or do think that it helped like open people up, because why is it not weird for men to talk about, but weird for women to talk about? Like me in college, like I remember like even with my girlfriends, like I wouldn't really like sex, like wasn't a conversation and it was kind of uncomfortable. Like, why is it that way? It's something that we should talk about with our parents. It's something that not like at the grown age, like you don't need to be talking to your parents about your sex life. But I think that parents, when their kids hit like middle school and high school, I think should talk openly and honestly about sex. Like I think it's really important because it is such an important part of a relationship, and there are so many women that are not satisfied and then also can't advocate for themselves because it's so taboo and they feel uncomfortable talking about it, period. But like you should be able to talk about that with your husband. For example, okay, which I don't ever talk about my sex life on here, which is not something that I'm like scared to talk about. I guess it never gets brought up. Carter and I were having sex last night, and we were, exploring, doing some little different positions, whatnot, but we're like openly talking about it. And then we finished, and then we, took a shower, and we were like talking about it and like this and that and what we might like and not like that should be normal. Like that. No, I'm not saying it should be your conversation all the time, like if you're sex addicts, but like you should be able to talk about all of these things with your partner. You know what I mean? Like, but I think communication, it starts like from the top. It starts about being able to talk about your in-laws. It's being able to talk about, infidelity or the Instagram follows or Snapchat or like him saying something to upset you or this and that. And like every single conversation you have helps move the ball forward to have other conversations. Like I think that the more you have hard, weird conversations, the easier it gets. So like that's why I think if you haven't like made your husband, but also like if she's never orgasmed herself, like how would she even know? It's honestly it's a disservice that he hasn't stepped up. Like a man that loves you should want to make you orgasm. Like that should be his goal every single time. You know what I mean? And that's how it is in a healthy and happy relationship. Like he wants that. A man who loves you, like every single relationship that was a good relationship that I've been in, like that has been a priority for them, because like that's what sex is. Like a man who does not prioritize you orgasming is a selfish, greedy asshole that doesn't care about you. That's kind of a crazy statement, but I believe that. And therefore, even if you hadn't orgasmed, I feel like he should push you to want that. And also he should be pushing to do that for you. Like that's fucking crazy. But there's an update at the bottom, which is like so bad. She said, okay, edit. I've brought the issue up countless times in the past. He tells me that it's not important, not a big deal, that he doesn't get me off. Since it's not that important, I just don't see why I have to hide this kind of thing like it's a dirty secret. That's fucking crazy. And that's what I'm talking about. He doesn't think it's important. No, that's fucking weird, because I am telling you guys, when a man loves you and is into you, like he wants to make you orgasm. Like that is just a literal fact. That is a fact. So if he's not, that is a huge red flag. But anyways, to my young girls or just girls out there who this is like an uncomfortable conversation, talk about it. Yeah, it might be a little awkward at first. You might be like, oh, it's a little bit embarrassing or taboo, which I don't know why it is that way. I think again, because women are raised in a certain way that like it is this weird thing when like men and women both have sex. Why is it like this normalized talk about thing for men? They're having sex with women. Women are having equally as much sex as men, obviously in heterosexual relationships. So it's like, why is it so different for us? You know what I mean? It's so weird, but hopefully we're getting better at it. But advocate for yourself. And also, like, if you've literally never had an orgasm, get a vibrator and you'll figure it out. I promise you. I literally promise you. But also, the big takeaway is if your partner does not prioritize you finishing, fuck that man. Before you marry him, get the hell out. Literally dump him or speak to him. I mean, obviously the first plan of action if you're having an issue in your relationship is to speak to them and communicate. But if he doesn't care or shuts you down or is weird about it, like if he's a little bit embarrassed to talk about it, that's different. Like you guys can get through it. But like if he's like has a negative response to you wanting to orgasm, dump him. Okay, next. Okay, and this last story, you guys, which I actually just debated for like 20 minutes if I should share this or not, because there is abortion involved, and I know that it's a really sticky subject, and I'm not trying to be controversial, but like I want to talk about the deeper issue of this message, and this is legitimate and real, and I feel like on this podcast I try and help people, and I think that it could be a big learning moment, but like I don't want this to turn into a abortion debate. I don't care what you believe, and I don't care what the fuck a person does with their body. I really don't. I like that's not what we're here to discuss, but the situation that this girl is in is fucking crazy, and that's what I want to talk about. Okay, I just wanted to give you a little forewarning. Okay. Am I the asshole for wanting to get an abortion despite my boyfriend wanting me to keep it and have his baby? Here's the thing. I literally personally know nobody that's gotten an abortion or has talked about it. I don't know a single soul. I've never even been close. You guys, I've never so much as taken a pregnancy test, which I know a lot of girls in there, like, which it's not funny because that's very fucking serious, but like, I think a lot of girls in like college, and you probably, you know, psychologically work yourself up to it, but like I've literally never even so much as taken a pregnancy test. I've never even had a scare. I think probably once in high school I like got really scared one time, just like at the idea of it. I'm like, oh my gosh, but no, never, like literally not once. So I'm excited when I first ever take a pregnancy test. Like that's gonna be my first time doing it, which actually, oh, that was from last week's episode, the story about how that girl, you know, gave the pregnancy test to her husband, or like made it a gift, you know, for his birthday. If you remember that story, a girl commented back on my Instagram story and was like, that's disgusting. Like, why would you do that at dinner? Because of like it being the stick that you peed on. And I'm like, I never really thought about that. Maybe I'm just disgusting, but like, can you clean it off? You can put the cap back on. I know some people will think that's gross and some won't, but anyways, okay, let's just get into the freaking story. 20 female, 20 years old, found out I was pregnant on Friday. It was not planned. I'm in my final year of community college, planning on transferring to a 4-year university this fall, and having a baby is not on my bingo card. I live paycheck to paycheck, and I'm already in debt for having student loans. My parents would never give me their tax information for FAFSA, so I had to take out loans to pay for school. I live with 2 roommates as it is, and I still struggle because I work part-time at a fast food place. My boyfriend, 29 male, and I have been together since January. Y'all, it's April. They've been together for like 4 months. And even though I was on birth control, he refused to wear condoms and claimed that they hurt him. Here is the first teaching lesson to any young girls out there. If a man is refusing to wear a condom, period, for any reason, do not have sex with that man. The condom is not hurting him. Absolutely not. I don't care if the man says it doesn't feel the same. It's not this, it's not that. You've heard them all. No. If he will not wear a condom, do not have sex with that man. I'm sorry, absolutely not. Like, it does not hurt him. Get a fucking bigger size. Like, you can wear a condom, and that's like the first mistake. And I think, again, young girls, like, there are so many things, because in the past, like, you want to, you know, obviously if you're about to have sex with somebody, you have a connection, you're dating them, or so on and so forth, but like, you just have to take care of yourself. You have to make sure this doesn't happen. And I cannot stress enough, having a child with somebody is the biggest, most life-altering thing of your literal life ever, right? And we have to be more careful. And she was on birth control, but again, I told you guys once, I never ever let a man, oh, Brenna, is this disgusting, do that inside of me until Carter, because fuck no, I was not getting pregnant with any of those people. And now we're engaged, obviously, but like absolutely not. Like just don't even like, I was always so shocked when I heard that girls were on birth control, but they were still like, I didn't even think about it. Like, and I was like, I'm not letting that happen. You are not doing that inside of me. Never. Not once. I was like, no. And I understand that birth control. I had the IUD for like 5 years and now I'm on my second one. Like, I get it. It's like 99%. No, you're not doing that. Why would I allow a single opportunity for that to happen? Like, I guess I'm just fucking a goody two shoes and I was like never even doing anything close to that sorts. But like, because here we are. She's on birth control. And I did read through some of the comments before I started. It was pills. And that also, I'm just another forewarning. The pills are wonderful, but you have to take them on time and follow the structure. Because I feel like pills, when you take them correctly, they're like 90 something percent effective. And again, look this up. Allegedly. I don't know for a fact. I'm not well versed in this. Maybe I should look. Wait, let me just Google that really quickly and we can learn together. How effective are birth control pills? 99% effective when taken exactly as directed. Okay, so 99%, but that is the thing. You miss one, you forget to take one, you fucked up, right? And you can get pregnant. And here is the thing, getting pregnant is, number one, a lot harder than I think we were made to believe, but it's also like something you don't fuck around with. Like, I know that you only ovulate on a certain days. Maybe we should do a health class one episode. I think that could really be helpful, but it can happen. You know what I'm saying? And this is exactly why I never let that happen. Because before the IUD, I was on birth control pills. So I was on birth control pills from like 19, maybe 18. I can't quite remember. No, 19 to like 21, 22. Oh, damn. It was only a couple of years. It was fucking brutal. And then I got the IUD when I moved to Dallas in 2019. Yeah, when I just turned 22. So I was only on the pills for 3 years, but I had a serious boyfriend at that time, that whole entire time. And that's not why I started it. I started it because I had an eating disorder and I lost my period. But still, yeah, I never let him. No, I just told you. I never, because like, no. And I was like very diligent about taking them, but like, I'm just saying, I don't mean to scare anybody, but like, look where we are. Okay. I missed my period for March and again for April and ended up taking a pregnancy test. My head has been spinning and I decided to tell my boyfriend today about this and my decision. His response was, I can't believe you didn't tell me this right away. And he seemed upset that I didn't tell him exactly when I got the positive pregnancy test. I was telling him I needed time to process it, and he got kind of mad and said, you kept a secret from me. I need to know you're making the right choices for our baby, and tried to end the conversation there. Like he had made up his mind and that was it. You have quite literally known this man since January. No. And like that reaction in and of itself, and it gets worse, obviously. Oh my gosh. Okay. I said, no, I'm not ready to be a mom. Financially, emotionally, physically. I have a bachelor's degree to finish and I'm living off student loans and I'm making $11 an hour working at Subway. I said, I didn't want to stay pregnant and was looking at traveling out of state to get an abortion, and he got angry. He said that we made a life and we have a responsibility to it, and tried to tell me I couldn't get an abortion or we were over. I'm like, what the fuck? We've only been dating for 3 months. I've only met his mom once and he's never met my parents. They don't approve of me dating, but they also don't pay my bills and I don't live under their roof. I said he cannot control what I do with my body, and that just made him more angry. He threw a soda bottle at me and left my apartment all angry. He ended up texting my roommate, who introduced us and called me a murderer, and told my roommate all of my business when I didn't want anyone to know. Now, one of my roommates is mad at me for bringing drama and making their friendship awkward, and the other one wants nothing to do with it. That reaction, throwing a water bottle at her, no. number one, you should not date this man, but number two, you should not have a baby with this man. And again, I'm not saying abortion is the correct thing. I don't know what adoption looks like. Again, like, I don't know this is honestly something that I haven't really dived that deep into. And again, I don't want to emphasis on the abortion part itself, because like it just has never related to me, and like it's not something that I'm doing, and therefore I don't give a fuck what other people are doing. Like, what a person decides to do, I don't give a shit, right? It's not affecting me, and therefore I don't know much about the ins and outs. But like, this man, number one, even having a child with a boyfriend who is decent, like having a child with anybody is just like so crazy and so big. And like, this man specifically, he's physically abusive. I'm gonna deduce that because he threw a water bottle at her. And like, the whole, again, like, I don't ever want to, there are people that believe that women can do with what they want with their body and have an abortion, and there are people that believe that it's, you know, being a murderer or whatever. You know, there are like the far ends of the spectrum. I don't believe one, or like, I believe a woman should be able to do whatever, but I don't, you know, I understand where the people are coming from when they don't believe in abortion. I understand the thought process of how they got there. That's all I'm going to say. Again, I am really scared about this, and I don't want this to get misconstrued, but I think you guys will understand. You guys know me. Like, I can always understand why somebody believes something, one or the other. For me, like, it just has never pertained to me, and it will never be a decision that I have to make. And therefore, like, I don't have a strong opinion on it, and never have, because I've never been in that position. And that's that. But like, what I do know is whether she keeps the child or not, being with this man, like, oh my God, that just like, that's a crazy reaction. And yeah, you did make a life because you fucking wouldn't wear a condom. Like, oh, like, this is how, unfortunately, and like, here's the thing, women that have a baby with the wrong man or in a bad situation, of course, it doesn't always work out. You know, I know a ton of other people that like, or people my age that were born in unfortunate circumstances, right? And they have their trauma and so on and so forth. But I think most moms always say that it was a blessing. And I think most moms always then put their child first. Not always, obviously. There are some cruel people out there. However, the man, like, that is a horrible situation, a very unfortunate one. Like, yeah, she's in college, and like, oh, and I don't want to say she's wrong for, she just should have never had sex with that man because he wouldn't wear a condom and we wouldn't be here. That's the point I'm trying to make. And that's what I'm saying. Like, when I would hear girls in college or like my friends, they were like, yeah, my boyfriend, like, he just does that inside of me. I was always like, what? And I understand you're on birth control, but for me, even though it's like apparently 99% effective, the fact that it's not foolproof, nope. And even obviously with a condom can break, so on and so forth. But like, my heart breaks for this girl, and I understand why she's thinking about getting an abortion. Like, I understand again why she feels that's her only choice, because like, she hasn't told her parents, like, they don't know. Okay, we'll get into that. Let me keep going. I live in a very red state that has banned abortion pretty much. Neither of my roommates are willing or wanting to help because they don't want to get in the middle of my situation, and my own family isn't either. My parents are very conservative / Christian and would blow their tops if they knew about this, and I'm really thankful I never introduced him to them. Oh, and like, what makes me so sad in this situation is this is a 20-year-old girl who is on her own, trying to make the best decision for her without anybody like being there. Like, this is why I also so deeply feel so bad for like strict conservative parents or strict like religious parents, because unfortunately things like this happen and your child feels they cannot come to you and talk to you about it. That is so sad, and that is so sick. Like, no matter what your strong beliefs are, like, you are gonna have children that might not agree with the things that you agree with. And if you treat them a certain way and have such strong opinions, like, and you know, make it so your kids cannot speak to you, that to me is so damaging. It's so bad. Like, I'm just thinking about this poor 20-year-old girl out there that like doesn't know what to do and doesn't have a support system. Maybe she could have kept the child if like she had not better parents, because like we don't know the ins and outs, but like parents that were more supportive, you know what I mean, and not as strict. And like, oh, and that's why like you can have an opinion one way or another, and like the system makes it so hard for women to in these positions make a choice, it's like, oh, 20 years old. Like, that's so fucking young. And like, this guy is a deadbeat. He's 29 years old. The fact that he wouldn't wear a condom tells me everything I need to know about that man. The fact that his immediate response is to say horrible things about her and say that we made a like, oh, which, yeah, you did, because you're a fucking idiot. Oh my gosh. And again, like, so bad. So bad. Okay. My boyfriend texted me that I was killing an innocent life and a bunch of other things that I don't agree with. He made sure to tell me I would regret this, and that terrifies me. I feel so trapped. Every part of me knows that I'm not ready to bring a child into the world. I can barely pay rent and afford groceries some months without going to my campus food bank. I'm trying to finish school and I don't even have a car. I want to actually keep my future open, but I really feel trapped and alone. Yeah, this is like the last person in the world that should be having a child. Like, I get it happened, but like, yeah, I understand. Like, and here, there's so many opinions, and they're all just opinions. Nothing is right or wrong. And again, sometimes like if she were to have this child, she'll figure it out and maybe the best thing could come from it. But I understand if I were her in that position, I'd be thinking the exact same things that she's thinking. I'm not going to lie. Like, yeah, you're barely making it by yourself, and then you're going to bring a child into the world. How are you going to work? How are you going to pay? Like, you could end up homeless in that situation. And like, it's just the sad reality of it. My boyfriend started demanding my parents' number so he can tell them how shameful I am and how we're done if I go through with this, which will honestly be a blessing in disguise. Yeah, you need to dump this fucking loser regardless of like what you choose to do. Like, him threatening you as if like he's not the fucking loser is crazy. But I also don't want my parents to know, because I will lose what very little support I do have from them. I now have to figure out how I'm going to afford traveling out of state, taking time off work, all of the other things I'm probably not thinking about right now. I managed to get an appointment scheduled, but I also don't know exactly how far along I am or how this is all going to play out now that my boyfriend is angry and neither one of my roommates seems to have my back. Am I the asshole for wanting to get an abortion despite my boyfriend wanting to keep it and have his baby? You have to be selfish. And unfortunately, yes, typically I would say that if you're like pregnant, that is, it's a choice you two kind of made, not really, but like it was both of you, but also as the mother. And like, here's the thing, regardless of what you believe on the situation or not, children primarily fall 100% on the mom. The mom is the one that's always going to do way more of the work in regards of everything. And so like, I don't want to say in a happy marriage and relationship where two people are together, I think a man and a woman should have equal say on the child. Like, it is their child. In a situation where you are not with the person or like even dating, but like you guys don't live together, this obviously, like, she needs to break up with this man ASAP. This is going to fall on the mother. So I believe that the mother has more say. Like, I don't know if that's right or wrong. Again, when I say things, I don't even I'm so scared about being controversial, but I don't think what I'm saying is controversial. I just liked this topic because I think it's like, I think a lot of people have been in this situation, and I think it's something to think about. And I think, number one, you shouldn't be with a deadbeat fucking loser. That's crazy. The whole condom thing just blows my fucking mind that men are still out here saying stupid shit like that. But like, she is the one that's gonna carry the burden, which like a child is not a burden, but like she is going to be the one solely taking care of that baby. And even with like child support, which what does this man do? Right? God knows he's a 29-year-old that knocked up his 20-year-old girlfriend of like, he wouldn't wear a fucking condom. They've been together for like 3 fucking months. God only knows what this man does. You cannot, like, that is the last person you should be having a child with. Just like, that is that. She had an edit. It said, if everyone who's commented, people have been commenting, like telling her to literally do horrible things to herself because they're, anti-abortion, whatever. I do not want to have a child, not at 20, not now. I want to finish my degree and get a job that pays more than fast food. I know that not everyone will agree with me, but it's what's best for me. I'm keeping my appointment. A lot of people in the comments were saying to, number one, obviously get the fuck out of this relationship, but number two, just tell him and anybody else for that matter that she miscarried, which I'm not going to like condone or like say that you should lie, but like I fear with the boyfriend, like he's obviously like he threw that water bottle, that sign or shows signs of physical abuse potentially. So like that's a scary thing to navigate. I would get the fuck away from him. And like, yeah, I feel like maybe lying about it is the best thing to do, but whatever she chooses to do is what she chooses to do. But moral of the story, do not get pregnant with a fucking loser. Just do not get pregnant out of being married, in my opinion, unless you're with your partner for forever and you guys don't believe in marriage. That's different. Like I just think it's the biggest life choice ever. Like who you choose to marry is a huge life choice. Who you choose to have kids with is a bigger life choice, period. Like that, I don't even think that's up for debate, because like you are tied to that person for 18 years. You are then, making decisions about a child, a human life with a man who like could be the worst fucking person on this planet. Just absolutely not. So this is a message to every girl out there. Make sure you're on birth control. Make sure you're staying safe. Make sure he's wearing a condom. And if a man ever says for whatever reason, no, he's full of fucking shit, and do not have sex with that man. And if a man is verbally, well, this guy's also not only physically, but verbally abusive. He's already just like flying off of the handles, calling her this, that, and the other. He's going to call her parents and say this, that. No, that's crazy behavior. And like, regardless, dump that man. That's like first and foremost. And then whatever she chooses to do is what she chooses to do. But I felt like very deeply, just like feelings. I felt very deeply reading this message. And I don't know if you guys like these kind of stories, but I feel like it's a very real life and I wanted to share. Okay, you guys, sorry to leave it on kind of a heavy note, but I like to keep the brains, going. I like to have you guys think about these things with me. And I like hearing your thoughts. A lot of you message me and we don't always agree. Like I get so many girls that are like, oh, I think this, or I actually think that. Or I had a girl message, one of my favorite girls. She said on last week's episode where we were talking about the mother-in-law who's like friends with the ex and the ex's family, she made a good point, which I'm not, the story didn't say, but she's like, what if they were friends? Like, what if her mother-in-law was friends with his ex's family before, so like, who is she to say that they shouldn't be friends? Which, yes, totally. That would be a different conversation. But like, yeah, a lot of you always say different things and like disagree with what I say. But like, then we talk about it. And again, like, I'm not fucking right, you guys. Like, I'm just like literally here sharing my opinions and that's it. Like, it is an opinion. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, you guys, okay, I'm going to wrap this up here. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. I hope it wasn't too controversial. Let me know your thoughts. I hope you guys had the best week and I will see you on Friday. Okay, bye guys.